Okay, let's go.
He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
Car.
Roses would be...
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have.
You'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns, what's right? I want a man's coolant.
And he's like, oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light.
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West. Internet.
You know, is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke.
It loves to be driven hard.
What's up, Brad?
Oh, we're starting, Andrew. Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
That was an odd opening. I wasn't ready for it. It caught me by surprise. Is that because it's your birthday today? Happy birthday, Andrew. You're trying something new for the new year here?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's my birthday, I guess. I don't know.
No, it is. I know. It's not. I don't know.
Yeah, we just decided to record tonight on a Monday night. It happens to be my birthday because last week I was working on rusty Subarus, and I still have more rusty Subarus to work on. But
I mean, if there's one thing that's been the theme of this podcast since the beginning, it's Andrew working on rusty Subarus.
you know what's frustrating is that these two Subarus have far less than 200,000 miles on them. The other Subarus were like way over 100,000 miles. So having a rusty Subarus was like, yeah, it's got over 100,000 miles on it in New England. It's going to be rusty. But, yeah, these, apparently, you know, because I didn't really look into it because it's, I don't know, I kind of know a lot of repairs. I don't usually look up how to do a repair beforehand other than looking at the service manual. I don't like do a lot of research.
I mean, especially these, they're bolt-on hub bearings. It's
yeah,
take
I'm
off
like,
wheel,
no big
take
deal.
off brakes, 4 bolts, remove hub bearing, put new one on with 4 bolts.
Done them before.
It's very common
on other cars. But apparently it's a whole thing on these Subarus that they absolutely rust weld in place.
I was surprised looking at the pictures of your mom's Forester, Outback, because the lip of the bearing that fits inside the knuckle, like not even the bearing, it's like the lip of the mount the bearing's inside of, is bare metal going into bare metal, and it's like an inch thick. So yeah, It's obviously going to weld itself together in New England. Regardless of mileage, it's just time and salt, right? I mean, regardless if it's got 100,000 miles or 40,000 miles, like it's driven every day in the wintertime, so it doesn't matter how far it goes.
Yeah. So, yeah. We couldn't get it out. So, you know, listeners our friends in the Discord. So the Styles guy had another friend or a friend of a friend who had to use like a 20-ton press to press one out and heat it up. And Scott, the Styles guy, said, just replace everything. Don't try pressing it. And I was like, yeah, that's probably a good bit of advice. And I was like, all right, let's just do, you know, because my dad and I, we could spend hours beating this thing out of it. So I'm like, all right, what's a knuckle cost for a 2016 Outback? A cast iron steel knuckle with 2 bushings in it. What do you think that costs?
I mean, I'm cheating because I already know.
You know what it costs, but
it's also not out of the ordinary for
Mr. Appraiser.
I replace them a lot for work, and some of them are twice that, depending on the car.
It seems insane. I like if it was like aluminum or something or adamantium, I don't know. But $800. Well, that was not MSRP. That was like 10% off because I ordered it through the local dealer that actually gives a discount online, like about 10% off on parts.
So it's just shy of
so it was about-
900 normally.
I ordered 4 bolts and something else with it. Oh, backing plate, because the backing plate is seized behind the knuckle, behind the bearing. So, yeah, it was total in parts was $900 for one side.
Right.
But we were able to do it.
That's $100 more than we normally pay for a whole car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we but we were able to do it in a night without fighting it, and now we have the other one. So we only did the side that was really bad. The other side is kind of starting to make noise. We'll do it in a couple of weeks. We'll probably do the same thing. And then my dad had a good idea. He's like, I'll just try to separate these. I'll find some with a press, have them separated, and then we just sell the used knuckles with 40,000 miles on them, because maybe somebody else will clean them up. Yeah, and use them.
Put them on eBay. Somebody will probably buy them.
Yeah. Well, I saw like that's the frustrating thing is like, I'm like, what is a used setup? So like you go on eBay and of course it's the bearing and the knuckle together from a car with like 193,000 miles on it, and it's $150.
So
You're like, well,
in
I
the
don't want that
insurance
either.
in the insurance world, we call that a knee assembly. It's the knuckle and all the associated parts that go along with it. It's less common in New England to replace a knee assembly because you're just getting a rusty one off of a parts car in a junkyard. But out here in Arizona, you can buy a knee assembly from a vehicle with the same or less miles and bolt it on, and it's just as good as the one that was wrecked in the accident. So that's what we use out here a lot, but does not get used nearly as much in New England.
I'm curious to know if these bearings go bad for the rest of the country. I don't know. It seemed like on YouTube, there's so many videos on how to remove them on YouTube because they're such a problem. Just didn't even think to look till after we were stuck with it. There's a couple of good solutions for it. If you really don't want to replace that expensive knuckle, you could booger weld on a 1/2-inch bolt and a nut and a jam nut, and you can use it as a jack bolt to push it out.
Kind of like a brake rotor bolt.
Yeah, still pretty difficult because it is like 1.5 inches that it goes into the knuckle. My current theory right now is that they rust, and rust expands, right? And I think that it just crushes the bearing and makes the bearing wear out faster. That's my theory.
It could be like rust particles getting in the bearing itself.
No, what I mean is like the bore gets smaller because of the rust.
Oh, maybe.
And it's distorting the bearing, making it tighter, and you're wearing it out faster.
Too much friction, yeah. Could be.
So,
yeah, I don't know. I don't have any Subaru friends out here that own Subarus, so I can't really ask. Because Subarus are not popular out here.
Stephanie's car needs 2 of those, but the knuckles for her car are like $180, but they don't come with the 2 lower bushings pressed in already, it seems like. So I'd have to order those 2 bushings and press them in, which I think
But I was
might
also looking at the picture of her bearing surfaces, and it doesn't have
smaller.
that whole 1.5 inch face on it.
But I'm worried that if they're
1/4 inch.
rusty, my theory is that they're going to just go bad again quicker than from new.
Okay.
Because they're already kind of rusty.
And obviously, the way you're assembling them now, you're covering them with like anti-seize and rust preventative stuff.
I was covered in it. No matter what you
imagine.
do, that is everywhere grease.
Yep.
But and so then so here's the other part of that story. We did get an email back from Subaru America willing to help with the repair that I complained about. They said they would cover $936 of the repair. I was like, okay.
They wanted $4,000 to do it,
So I was like, all right, that was like Friday afternoon. I was like, all right, Stephanie, we'll think about it over the weekend. So I got a call like late Friday afternoon from the service manager at the dealership. The dealership, really.
100%.
And she's like, well, the $936 would just cover the parts. Then you'd be required to pay the labor. I was like, okay, what parts? She was like, well, it's the bearings and the backing plates. I was like, that's it? Just those 4 parts? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay. And it's how much in labor? She's like $1,400. It's like, okay. She's like, so the total will be like, you're like $2,300 with tax.
What?
I was like, okay. I was like,
That's
I'll
not
call you
covering
back.
all
I
the
gotta
parts
think about
then.
that. I haven't called her back yet, but we emailed Subaru back. I'm like, you know what? We're not gonna do it. We already bought the parts. You guys are, the dealership is marking up parts. We estimated 60% because
Sure.
I looked up the MSRP on the parts. Because you can buy Subaru parts online. It's like a website run by Subaru,
Mm-hmm.
and then it directs you to a local dealer that will sell you the parts. So not every dealer is part of the program. Excuse me. Need some water.
Well, you and I both have history of working in car dealerships in the
Yes.
parts department, so we know how matrix, quote unquote, pricing works. And the cheaper the part, the higher the markup over list.
Yes.
Usually how it works.
It was
But
a
yeah,
sliding
sometimes
scale.
they're 100% markup on some of the cheaper stuff. So I see that for sure, which is robbery, obviously. But
It's insane. I mean, 60% over parts is crazy.
100%.
And then I mean, I can't really argue with. I don't know what their labor rate is. I can't really argue with the labor. It's whatever you can make up the labor for non-warranty repair. You can say
Sure.
it's 10 hours, and with the book, maybe the book says 2, but you can tell the customer it takes 10. I'm sure I'm sure they deal with these rusty bearings. They know how hard they are to get out. They're not going to undercharge.
Well, there's a
fine.
reason. There's also a reason that like motor data doesn't give overlap times.
Yeah.
Because they leave it up to the person selling the job to decide what is, overlap. So like, if it's 5 hours to do a wheel bearing, and that includes taking off the brakes, they're gonna be like, well, it's 5 hours of that, but the brake job is 2, so it's 7 hours, and they make up all this baloney that they can sell whatever they want to sell to you. So it's awful.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to pay them to do the brakes. So yeah, I don't understand. You shouldn't, in theory, the price to fix cars should be the same because all cars are the same. It doesn't matter if it's a luxury car, but for whatever reason,
Sure.
luxury car brands would charge more money
Because
because
they can
their
get more
customer
money.
base had more money. So I don't really understand how you're charging this much money for Subarus because they are not a luxury car. They're far from a luxury car. And I don't understand how people are paying it. And I think it's ridiculous. And this isn't, you can't tell me it's like tariff prices or any of this bullshit. It's like, this is just pure greed.
Theft.
People are frustrated because they're paying too much for things. We need to just stop paying too much for things. Like, just say
Yep.
no.
Well,
like,
what the dealership is counting on is you going in there and being like, $3,000. I can just put $3,000 down on a new car,
I guess.
and then they take your $3,000 quote, they fix it for the $600 that it actually costs, and they put your car back out in the lot, and they sell your car again. And they've made money on you by selling you a car and reselling your car that you traded in. So that's got to be what the scam is. And they figure that if somebody fixes it, they make money. If somebody doesn't fix it and they trade it in, they also make money. So there's definitely a market out there for a honest repair facility that charges what it actually time it takes to fix the cars, or true book time with no shenanigans, just to help people out. There's a market out there for that. Somebody's got to
We
do it
used
who's
to-
not greedy.
I mean, we used to have a saying, like, you don't need to pay your mortgage on the one work order.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. But
But if you look at all these
working on-
dealerships,
they all
everybody
work on
that works in
commission.
yeah, and every manager drives a Mercedes and lives in a McMansion because they all get paid so much money now. Like, and I'm not saying that that's an issue with that particular manager, but it's an issue of the culture of the car dealership. Like, I worked at a car dealership many years ago, but I also worked at one a couple years ago here for a short period of time when I was, in between things. And it was just straight up theft everywhere. And part of the reason that I left was because I wasn't participating in the theft from customers. And they were mad at me for not making as much money as they thought I could. But it's like, I insurance companies pay me. They pay list price on things. Like, you can't mess around with that kind of stuff when it's bodywork stuff. But nonetheless, it's awful. There's nothing
because insurance
no good
companies don't want
dealership.
to overpay on things. They know the scam.
I have the
And
same
they won't
argument
do
you're
it.
having. I have the same argument you're having today with Subaru. Every day is a career. So every time that I have a mechanical damage claim and it's at a dealership, I have the same argument, and I have to decipher their motor guide they gave me for the labor they're looking for. I have to decipher all the part numbers and knock them back down to true list because they always mark them up. I have to argue with them why I'm not paying for something because I know more about the mechanics of the vehicle than the guy selling the job every time.
Yeah.
And it's just incredibly frustrating. Like and you talk about labor rates. I was at Land Rover the other day, and the local Land Rover dealer is $300 an hour, which is absurdity, obviously. And they can't make the vehicle align. The two wheels on the right side hit a curb. I paid to replace most of the suspension in the right front, and I paid to replace the clearly bent parts in the right rear. And they're telling me that, well, it won't align now, so now it needs a subframe. And I'm like, well, it doesn't need a subframe because all these arms are rubber mount. The arms aren't bent. You're not going to transfer the energy through an arm that's rubber mounted and bend a steel subframe. Like, unless you direct impacted that steel subframe on something, or the arms are obviously destroyed and warped beyond the point of, obvious damage. And none of it's like that. I'm like, no, I'm not paying it. Well, what's the customer going to do? I was like, the customer's not going to have you put a subframe in their car. That's not going to fix the problem because it's not bent. So I don't know what you want me to do. I want you to align the car properly and get it back to the customer. Like, I'm not
fix the
paying
car.
you $4,000 to put a subframe in. What doesn't need a subframe?
Could also be
Well,
a
it needs
quality
subframe.
issue of Land
It
Rover.
doesn't need a subframe. And then, we're halfway through the process, and he's like, well, maybe this tech isn't very good. I'm like, well, that's on you. Give it to a tech who's good if that's what you tell me. You shouldn't be telling me your tech isn't good and can't figure it out, so you want me to throw parts at it. I'm not throwing parts at it. My job is to fix the car properly. My job isn't to say
And
no.
not overspend.
Right. My job is to fix the car properly, period. End of story. At this point, I am the paying customer. I want to pay what's broken. I don't want to open the parts can and pay for it. And, we would be like $37,000 deep in suspension parts for this Range Rover if I just replaced everything. Like, absurdity. So
Yeah, and if they're claiming it's out of like spec, then they need to put it on a frame machine and check it, and prove it to you.
they need to align it better, is what they need
Yeah,
to do.
but if they would need to prove it that it's out of spec to get it replaced.
He was telling me, short version of a long story. He was showing me the alignment spec sheet, and I know how to read an alignment spec sheet, which I think he didn't count on, because he obviously couldn't read an alignment spec sheet, and he was trying to show me that this was with the steering wheel straight. And I was like, well, first of all, you don't align a car with the steering wheel turned. So yes, I'm aware the steering wheel is straight, and both of your front wheels are pointed to the left. So something is not correct. So if the steering wheel is straight and both are pointed to the left, then you haven't fixed the front. So it's not going to track right because
Just
the front
at the
is pointing
tire
in the wrong
rods.
direction. Yeah, because the front is pointing the wrong. It's tracking down the road sideways. I'm like, yes, because the tire rods need to be adjusted. There's nothing. There was no damage on the left, and you're out on the left now, and you weren't out on the left the initial one. Like you showed the initial alignment and then showed the final alignment. It's like you changed the wrong things. Like, it's very obvious what you've done here, so fix it. Like, get somebody on there who knows what they're doing. Like, again, I'm not going to throw parts at it when you're giving me this alignment sheet that shows things that weren't bent, pointing in the wrong direction. Like, you've done the wrong thing here. You're also the dealership, and you're getting $300 an hour to do this. So for $300 an hour, you better know what you're doing.
They better have
But
the
they don't.
best alignment rack ever.
They have a great alignment rack, but they don't have a great alignment rack person because they're a car dealership and they're trying to save money, and they hire the same alignment kid who last week worked at the tire store.
And it's also hilarious because the damn thing does it for you. It tells you what to do.
100%. Yeah, he gave me two alignment sheets. This one's the steering wheel pointed straight. This is with the steering wheel pointed to the left. I was like, why did you try to align it with the steering wheel pointed to the left? That is nonsensical. Like, what are you doing? So, anyway, so you're what I'm saying is you are not in a unique situation with the Subaru thing because it's just awful everywhere right now. Absolutely awful. I just get incredibly mad talking to these service advisors. So,
Yeah, I think I said this to Stephanie. They just didn't count on. I mean, are not like your Subaru customers like fairly savvy? I mean, we bought a car that wasn't too expensive. Like
the answer is no.
Yeah, I guess not. Like, I don't know.
The answer is no. I mean, there's a reason that IT guys laugh about, like, when the IT call comes in, the first thing they say is turn it off and turn it on again because people don't know the basics. And when it comes to cars, they know even less. So people don't
Stephanie
know.
was like-
They prey on people, and it works.
Stephanie was like, "Well, where did you get these prices?" I was like, "They're on the internet from Subaru. They're not. They're
It's
not
not
hidden
secret.
anywhere. If you do a little bit of research, they're right there."
Yep.
And even so, even with all the like adding up MSRP, it was like $580 something. The the two wheel bearings, the two backing plates that I had to order from two different places because I couldn't get them from the same overseas part supplier. Like I had to get the bearings from Parts Work and the backing plates from Amiyama. So I had to pay shipping 2 times. I was still at $450 for all the parts. So
there's
discounted
$450 of added value they were trying to get out of you.
So I paid $200 in shipping for the parts, and I was still less than MSRP. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Less than MSRP or less than their marked up MSRP?
I paid less than their MSRP and less than their discounted price. So the wheel bearings were like $85 a piece overseas, and they're $195 discounted here. So trust me, I looked for my mom's the knuckle for her car. It was only available in the United States because I think Outbacks are built here. They really aren't sold in Japan.
It's not a world car.
But even the knuckle for the Crosstrek is not available at the overseas ones for whatever reason. I'll have to order that in the States. I don't know why.
Do they make a Crosstrek overseas or just an Impreza?
Yeah, it's an
So
XV.
it's probably a different.
No, it's the same.
Part
I
than
saw a
the
bunch of them in
rest
Japan.
Hmm.
It's a world car. That car was built in Japan. It's good. It starts with a J in the VIN.
I don't know
So,
that.
I don't know.
I assumed that it was Tennessee or whatever.
Nope. Some of the new ones might be, depending on the model, but hers was built in Japan. So, and they sell them over there.
Well, the good news is you got it all figured out, and it's going to cost you not much money to do it, and just knowing that you have to do it.
Yeah. That's what I was looking at. I was like, well, if the alternative was I spent $2,000, I guess maybe I'll just buy the new knuckles and save myself a bunch of hours and just swap them out. Because they also told me some lower control arm bushing was bad, and I'm like, well, maybe that's one of the ones that's in the knuckles anyway that they wanted $500 to replace. So I gotta check it out. I gotta look under the car tomorrow.
My guess is they tried no bad bushings at all.
I don't know. I'm gonna investigate. I'll put it up on the jack stands tomorrow and start on it. That's why we're recording tonight, because I'll probably spend all week on it and not working on the Volvo, which is also annoying. But
Unfortunately, the daily needs to be sorted. And what is it they say on our Discord group all the time? Any car with a long enough timeline becomes a project car.
exactly.
So
I did work on the Volvo a little bit. I took a break while we were waiting for parts for my mom's car. So the header to the rest of the exhaust had about 10 inches of gap. And there was a couple pipes that came with the header. Because the header was actually for an Amazon, but it fits a B20. And they didn't have the 421 header available for the 140 when I ordered it on sale on Black Friday. And I was like, how different can it be? It's a B20. You know, they're all kind of the same. So it was like maybe a half an inch, like not off, like side to side, like they weren't quite pointed at each other, but they're very, very close. I was like, you know what? Maybe like a flex section will fit in there. So I measured it. It's like 10 inches. I was like, let me just go to the parts store and see if they have a flex section with extra length pipe on it for like repairs. I got lucky. I went to Advance. They had a 6-inch flex with like some pipe on each end. So overall, it was 10 inches. Just 2-inch pipe, just like what was on the car. I had to expand one end to go over the end of the header, and just adjusted the pipe that came with it because it was meant to be slip fit, but it just needed to be opened up just a tiny bit. It went in perfect, like unbelievable that I just bought a piece of pipe off the shelf and it just worked.
It's one of those wins that you just need sometimes, right?
Exactly. So the exhaust is attached or all connected. I just got to get some clamps because nobody had the right size clamps. I got to order those online, actually, now that I think of it.
It's funny because normally when you buy headers for a car, you don't buy them for model anyway. You buy them for the engine. So the fact that you even could buy them per model is a
I
luxury
guess
for
that I wouldn't really think of that. I don't know.
Yeah, like I was looking at buying a header for the Corolla. We'll get to that in a minute. But you don't buy a header for a 1980 Corolla. You buy a header for a Toyota 1.83 TC.
Ah,
Yep. So there's always going to be a little bit of finagling. Unlike you, I also can't buy an exhaust off the shelf for that car, and the whole thing needs to be replaced because it's been hacked together a bunch of different times, and it points in the wrong direction under most of the car, and it blocks where the spare tire goes. So
yeah.
I need to just redo that all anyway. So I'll put the header on the car when the car is finished, and I'll just ship it off to an exhaust shop to build an exhaust for it because I know for a fact that I don't have the patience or the tools to properly assemble an exhaust into the car, and an exhaust shop will do it in a couple hours for a couple $100.
Yeah. So speaking of that, actually, I got to do the Montero does need a sticker. Kind of, the exhaust is a little bit loud. It's been a little bit loud since I've gotten it, and I've skirted by for the last 6 years. And I'm curious to know if I go this week if they'll give me a sticker for it. But they
Did not
don't.
seem offensively loud.
It definitely has an exhaust leak, but sometimes the guys where I go kind of don't care. So I think maybe. I mean, the other thing, we'll see how it goes. If they make me fix the exhaust, then I'll fix it. If not, I'll just let it go some more. But it definitely lately, the cat has been smelling like sulfur. It's got an aftermarket cat welded in there.
Sure.
And then it's been throwing a check engine light and seemingly running a little bit rich, which seems to be like a bad O2. Maybe that's why the cat smells. So it needs a little bit of exhaust work probably, but we'll see. So otherwise, I've just been driving around town. I haven't taken it where any far because it also needs tires because they're dry rotted, which is cool.
Are they really?
Yeah. There was 2017.
Yeah, still, it's not as common there for tires to dry out that fast.
It sits out in the sun a lot.
Still.
I should have put the RV tire covers on it.
Yes, we have a set of those here on Naomi's Mustang because it's outside and doesn't really help much because we put used tires on it to roll it around and they leak anyway. So
yeah, I don't know. It's like not that big a deal, so I'll kind of let it go a little bit. But yeah.
Those are the kinds of things that you forget about as a multiple car owner. That it's expensive, not because you got to buy the car, because now you're maintaining 7 cars. Things like tires are expensive.
Yeah, it's fine when everything's like on an off year. It's annoying when everything lines up in the 1 year, and then you're like,
Yeah, we were talking the other day because we have a credit card through our local tire shop, and it seems like there's always a set of tires being paid off. So just constantly pay off a set of tires. Oh, time to put tires in something else. Right now I have at least 3 cars that need tires. So it is what it is. It's fine.
yeah, I'm not too worried about it. It's the truck rolls and drives on its own, so that's good enough for now. I also don't need it. Like, it's just there, so that's what doesn't bother me.
Bonus car.
Yeah, that's why I don't mind. I really would have liked to have the Volvo running by this week for my birthday, but I didn't get to it. I didn't get to it. That's all right. It'll get done hopefully this month.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So
and then it's like I don't, even though some of the stuff's been annoying on that, it doesn't annoy me that much because I don't need it to get anywhere. I'm not without a car. It's just sitting there, and I'll work on it as we go.
it's
I'm more
just
annoyed.
having
Yeah, and it's
having
like I'm less annoyed. It's not so much. I'm mildly annoyed at the cost of the Subarus, but I'm more annoyed that they're just taking up time.
Sure.
But
It's all about having the patience to finish the Volvo on a schedule that's best for the car, not for you.
also, I don't want my parents to way overpay to have the car fixed
No,
because that's not okay either.
no. This is the first time in 41 years that it's paid off having a son.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, that's why we had a kid. Saved money 41 years later.
I don't know how people afford just having a regular car.
This is why everybody has a leased car or they buy a new car every time their payment is over. So many people have that thought process where they're just always going to have a car payment and they've conditioned themselves so that's just their life. So every 5 or 6 years they buy a new car. Period. So it's kind of upsetting, but we can't educate the whole world on how to do it right, so we just won't. I hate it. And I hate it because it feeds that system of car dealerships to keep doing bad because everybody's just used to it now. So, just need a massive boycott of buying new cars and see what happens then. But it won't happen, so.
Just need people to stop overpaying for stuff, and that'll just make prices go down.
Sure.
Like, if it's something you don't need to exist, don't overpay for it.
Yep.
Like, put all these scalpers out of business for all these die-casts. Stop overpaying
that's what
them.
we're talking about with scalpers in general. It's not just diecast. For a while, it was real cars, like when the new Bronco came out, or when the Maverick came out, or the Corolla GR came out. People are buying them and flipping them for twice what they cost new. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we?
And shame on the people for overpaying for them.
I mean, did you see, going back to the diecast thing? Yeah, 100%. But did you see what the Jaws diecast is going for on eBay?
No.
The Hot Wheels, Jaws Hot Wheels.
What's
So
it
they
going
were They were $35 to buy them directly from Hot Wheels, and they're at minimum $200 on eBay.
Ugh.
But people must be paying it because there's multiple up there for $200. So it's like,
Yeah, it's frustrating.
what am I gonna do? Yeah, I don't want it that bad.
I don't want it to flip. I want it to put on my shelf, but I don't want to pay more than I'll pay retail. I want to pay retail. That's fine. I'd be happy if I paid
100%.
less than retail, but I'm willing to pay retail, and that's it. I'm not paying
I
a
was
markup.
prepared to buy one at retail, and I'm annoyed that I forgot that they were listed because I would have bought 2 of them and shipped one to you. But I forgot, so I did not get one. Whatever. I certainly don't need it $200 bad. And the problem with that is I have tons of diecasts that are selling for $150 or $200 or whatever, and they cost $30 new or less. But I don't want to sell them, so it doesn't mean anything to me. I truly want these things.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just sell them, but whatever. I don't want to be part of the system. So, is that your project car stuff, Andrew?
That's all my project car stuff. What do you got?
So, what have I done? I put air in the tires of the new Starion, but that's it. I haven't touched the car other than that, just because other stuff's been going on, and I don't want to dig too deep into it until I have time to dig deep into it. So, haven't done much with that yet. I do want to clean it soon, just to kind of get a base of where I'm at. But
I'm telling you, pressure wash it. Feels so good.
I'm gonna pressure wash it. Yes, I should probably put a shift knob on it too, do a full Andrew rebuild.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you
Doesn't
need.
run, has a shift knob. Yep.
Exactly.
No, I intend on pressure washing under the engine bay and cleaning the body up and putting a little coat of wax on it and just kind of seeing, how it comes up. That's the plan. But I also have been working.
So
on
motivating.
It probably is. But I have other cars that need to be worked on. Obviously, I've talked ad nauseum about getting them core finished and out of here, and that has to be the next step. But the Corolla is where I'm currently working on. I think when we last left off, I had not taken it all the way apart yet. I definitely hadn't because I took it apart 2 days ago. We haven't recorded for a week and a half. So, cylinder head is off the car. I expected some kind of smoking gun to show me why there was less than half the compression on number 3 and why it had a 45% leak down. But there was no smoking gun when pulling the cylinder head off. Head gasket wasn't blown. Valves looked fine. The only thing that was off was the exhaust port had an oily residue in it in number 3 and not the other 3. But that doesn't tell me what's going on. That's either going to be a broken or a worn valve seat, which is not likely because it's a fresh build in the motor, or it's oil coming up from the rings, which is bad, obviously. But step number 1 was I flipped the head upside down and I filled the combustion chambers with oil to see if there was any kind of leak there. Maybe. Crack, I couldn't see any kind of anything, but I did that. I sat overnight full of oil with no problems at all. Nothing leaked down. Obviously, there's no pressure in the engine when it's all apart like that, so whatever. So that was annoying. Didn't tell me anything. I was talking to a friend of the show, Josh, who's a Mitsubishi guy, and he suggested his machine shop that he uses, where it's $80 to inspect and resurface a cylinder head. And I was like, $80 is pretty fair for that. I'm into that. So I dropped it off.
Fair prices.
Yeah, for sure. So I dropped it off with Josh yesterday. And actually, I just got a text message back from him just before he started recording that it came back, checked out perfectly fine. It's all cleaned and serviced and ready to go back on the motor. So there's no problem with the cylinder head. They pressure test it. They do all the tests on it. No issues at all.
So you get some
the
junky
cylinder
rings.
head is fine, which ideally the problem would have been in the cylinder head, but unfortunately it's not. So it sounds like I have rings that need to be replaced, which is less ideal. It's not super convenient to do like drop the pistons out of the bottom of the motor and do a dingle ball hone and put them back together with new rings. Because where the cross member is in the front of the car, you really couldn't do that. I had to pull the whole suspension out. So I think the best move is probably to pull the block out of the car now.
Yeah.
So after podcast, actually, I intend to go out there, and the last test I'm going to do, which doesn't really matter, I'm going to do it anyway, is put some oil on top of the pistons and see if that one leaks down more so than the other 3. But I mean, at this point, it almost doesn't matter because the motor's got to come out. So it's pretty much ready to come out. I just have to separate it from the transmission. All the other ancillary devices have been taken off. Belts are all off. The head's off. All the emission stuff is disconnected. I'm actually it has still had the EGR tubes that cars of that era had that screw into the cylinder heads. But they went to a blocked off EGR valve, so they weren't doing anything. So I'll just eliminate all of that and put the EGR block off tubes in there because it will probably run better tuned well than it would with a broken EGR system. So I'll put that back in when I get that all together as well. They sell basically they're bolts that go in where the EGR tubes screw into the cylinder head. The same ones are on the Cressida as well. So I'll do that for that car. Yeah, I'm frustrated, but at least we know now, and at least the cylinder head's ready to put back on the car. So I'll just have to buy a gasket set and that aforementioned header I probably want to put in the car as well. Clean everything up. The block will be out, so the typical while you're in there situation is happening a little bit because the passenger side frame rail is actually bent a little in front of the suspension mounting, so it doesn't affect the drivability of the car, but it does affect the alignment of the front bumper, and it's always bothered me a little bit. And I want to put chrome other market bumpers on the thin little like Asian market bumpers, but I didn't want to do that with the bent frame rail because it would be even more obvious with a new chrome bumper on the front that it was bent. So while the motor's out, I might tow it somewhere and have them put it on a frame rack and straighten that rail because it makes the most sense to do it with no motor in it because you can get in there and bodywork that frame rail pretty easily. So just like anything, it's going to snowball a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is. I got to get the car put back together, and I'm trying to get it back together for October because that's when all of the events are happening here that I need to use it for. So fingers crossed I can get that done. Hopefully it's not too big a deal to put the motor back together. I personally have never built the bottom end of a motor by myself. So it'll be a learning experience, learning how to do rings properly, so I don't have a repeat situation, but I'm sure I can figure it out.
So what we did with the Volvo, my dad found some bolts that were the same pitch as the head bolts, but shorter, and just bolted in to two corners where the head bolts go in to pull the engine out without the head. So.
Oh, there's plenty of large size bolts I can use to pull. I'm not worried about that. So my only nervousness is assembling a bottom end because I never have before. So
yeah, you got to fit the rings and grind them, the little thingy.
Right, that's where that's the part that I'm nervous about.
Some feeler gauges. It's not too bad though.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure I can figure it out. It's just it's intimidating because if you screw it up, you screw up a lot of things. So we'll get there. But I got to pull it out first anyway, so whatever. Life is what it is. It's just frustrating because much like, I bought the Mercor as a sorted running car and it wasn't. And I bought this car as a sorted, not sorted everywhere, but the engine was supposed to be solid because it's only a few years old with, at the time I bought the car like 10,000 miles on it. It's probably 13,000 miles now. So it shouldn't have had an issue, and it did. So it is what it is. I'll get it put together and move on, but I am frustrated by it. So, but that's it for project cars. I haven't touched anything else. I don't think. Nope, that's it. Just work and that one project car. I will say, super excited about the swamp cooler in the garage because now that we're into like full-on summer here where it's 114 degrees, I can work in the garage with the swamp cooler going, and if I'm in the path of the swamp cooler, the thermometer that I put there is reading like 82 degrees when it's 114 out with the air, the cool wet air blowing on me from the swamp cooler. It's actually downright comfortable working on the car in the garage. So if this was previous garage time when I had no garage, I would not be working on this car as much in these months because it's just so hot outside. So it's making it quite reasonable. It does make it a little bit humid, but if you crack the door, the humidity kind of goes out with the wind, so it works out well. So it's a really good sign for when I upgrade the garage from a swamp cooler to actual air conditioning. So it should be a pretty comfortable place. But anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my my project car updates.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Nothing else has been done. Which I guess I shouldn't complain. Nothing else has been done because that's actually a lot.
It is a lot.
So.
Yeah. What about? Let's see. We ranted about overpriced services and rusty cars.
Always.
So we're right on brand.
Typical.
How about?
We do need. We have one thing that we omitted last week when we were talking, and we should not have. A person who influenced our lives greatly passed away. And we didn't even talk about it. So, Mr. Tamaya,
Oh, yes.
Shunsaku Tamaya,
Yep.
who was 90 years old, who ran Tamaya since 1977, which means that everything from our Tamaya heavy childhood came from him. So, I didn't want to be remiss and not mention that on the show because if not for diecasts and RCs and model cars, we wouldn't be the car people we are today. So, and a lot of that came from Mr. Tamaya because our automotive taste was built by Gran Turismo and Japanese model kits.
Yep.
So, that's 100% Mr. Tamaya's fault.
Yep. As I sit in my basement, piled high with the stuff.
Yes. I also am surrounded by Tamaya stuff. So, it's totally cool. But yeah, no, I mean, it's he's pretty much the only guy who's ever run the company. So hopefully it continues on in the same way it always has, and we don't notice a change. But that's a pretty good legacy to have run it since 1977. I mean, that's pretty much he's the guy. So he is Tamaya. One more quick rant. When your license plates on your car expire,
Yes.
you go to the RMV, or we can go here to the third party, and you get your plates renewed, right?
Well, I go online, yeah.
Either way, I can do that as well. But if the sticker on your car said 7 of 25, when does your plate expire?
Like 3 days ago, or whatever it was, 4 days ago.
So the last day of July 2025.
At midnight, yeah. That's an expire.
Yep. So apparently, I didn't learn this until now, unfortunately. The plate on one of my cars says 7 of 25.
Yeah.
And I went to renew the tags. Actually, let me be 100% honest. I did not go to the tags. Naomi did because I forgot about it. But Naomi went to renew the tags on like the 25th or 26th.
Yeah.
And we had to pay a late fee.
Why?
Because apparently, even though the tag on the plate says 725, they randomly assign some vehicles to expire on the middle of the month.
Weird.
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
As
to me,
annoying,
but my plates apparently expired on the 15th.
as annoying as the Mass RMV is, you could renew the registration on the last day of the month, and they'll send you an email that says your registration is valid, and use this email if you get pulled over. Strangely, they'll make it that's actually really easy for the Mass RMV.
Right. Well, they'll do that here as well. If you register it on the last day, you'll get a thing that says it's registered. But apparently the last day was the 15th, and we tried doing it on like the 25th. So we had to pay, it wasn't a huge charge. It was like $17, but still, that's annoying. And it means the car was unregistered for a couple of weeks without me knowing it. If you're going to do that, and the theory is, I guess, that they were being overwhelmed by everybody coming the last day of the month to renew their cars.
Of course.
But if that's the case, then if it makes it, your plate says 725, and you don't want people to come in on the last day of July, extend it to the 15th of the next month. Don't make it invalid 2 weeks before the date on the plate.
Well, now everybody will come in 15 days later.
But if only half the car, so it's not every car, it's only some cars. Like I looked at other cars expire on the end of the month.
The 25
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Is not the year, or the 25 is the
25 is the year. But the plate says 725, so you assume that you have till 7/31/25.
Yeah.
But you don't. I only had till 7/15/25, which is incredibly
The only thing that was annoying the other day, I got a thing that the Glant was expiring at the end of, or the Talon was expiring this year at the end of August. So I was like, all right. So I got like a letter. I didn't get the email. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So I was like, all right, cool. So I logged into RMV, and you put in your license number and everything that's attached to your license number. So all the cars you own come up, and your license. And
same here.
and the only thing that had an alert was the Talon, and then the All Track expires in like October. I'm like, all right. So then, like 2 days later, I get a thing in the mail that my license is expiring. This is like in the middle of July. I was like, why wasn't that on the website like 2 days ago? It's just on the website. I was like, and then I'm like, well, this makes sense because I renew my license in 2020 and they're every 5 years. But like, that's really weird that it just wasn't on the website. Like, I could have just done it.
Yeah, it's odd.
So I was like, all right, I'll just log back in. And sure enough, it was like, renew your license. I was like, what? It's like weird.
You must not have hit whatever the threshold of the alert was. Must not have been
Yeah.
hit, strangely enough.
And then it didn't show up until like
so I also
like Saturday. It took like 2 weeks to get it.
oh, that's odd. I'm also annoyed because the other issue we have here in Arizona is different counties have different rules, and the county I'm in is the most populous county, so we have emissions. But you don't need to do emissions. So emissions is every other year on your car. But you don't need to do emissions if your car has collector car insurance on it.
I feel like you've told this story before, but like the RMV didn't know that.
So again, what happened is we went to renew my Colt online because I get a 5-year registration for it, and it says you can't renew it because it needs emissions. It's like, oh no, it doesn't, because unfortunately, Haggerty Insurance doesn't say Haggerty Insurance on it. Your paperwork also says Philadelphia Indemnity, so they don't know what it is half the time. Which this is what happened with the stupid Corolla that one time, where I was just driving it all willy-nilly for 6 months, having no idea they had canceled my registration because they didn't understand my insurance. It's like, oh, what the hell's happening with the RMV here? It's so simple, but so complicated. So, but that frustration there is now I have to go to the motor vehicle department in order to renew the registration on the Colt. I can no longer do it online.
Yeah.
So, good times. Good times. But whatever. I'll figure it out. I'm just annoyed by it. I'm mostly annoyed by that. Like, oh, your plates are good till 7/25, so that means the end of July. Nope, middle of July. Come on. And somebody was telling me that it's the date. It's to the exact date that you registered it, but that doesn't check out with what I was reading on all of mine. Like, I didn't register on the 15th. It just expires on the 15th. So, I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. I guess I'm still getting used to things here. Things are just starting to expire for the first time because I've only lived here for 6 years. And most of the collector cars have 5-year tags. So, the Colt apparently isn't registered here now for 5 years.
Interesting.
Which doesn't make sense either. Maybe I did 3-year tags on it then? I don't know, but it'll get 5-year tags this time. I didn't put 5-year tags on cars I didn't intend to keep for 5 years, but the Colt isn't going anywhere, so.
Yeah. Well, anyway. How about some racing? You been keeping up with NASCAR?
Almost. I'm a week behind. I have no idea what happened in Iowa.
Yeah, I somehow avoided it
We'll
too.
hold off on
So,
that one.
but I did watch, and honestly, Iowa kind of sucks. It's like,
Yeah, Iowa's not.
like people complain about New Hampshire. I'm like, Iowa's kind of a lame racetrack, but I don't know. Maybe it was just more interesting that they did the Brickyard again. So
Yeah, which is not a lame racetrack. It's a wild racetrack to watch racing on television at.
it was a cool race.
It was a great race.
Like, I mean, even for like, I don't think they had like a lot of, it wasn't a lot of lanes, right? It was like a single lane kind of racetrack, but people were moving around and making passes.
So what blows my mind watching Indy cars at Indianapolis is whenever they're going down the front stretch or the back stretch, they make these like super
they dive out to the inside.
like lateral moves to make passes. And
Cup cars were doing it.
the first thing I noticed watching the NASCAR race is the Cup cars doing it too. And you'll see them make like, a 5-lane lane change to go around a couple of cars and break drafts. And it was super interesting to watch them come down the straight and like swerving back and forth like that. So that was cool. They were super aggressive, and they were super aggressively blocking too. Like what the guy would see the guy behind him start to make that like 5-lane turn towards the inside wall and make the block all the way down to the inside wall, which caused a couple of contact points. There weren't any really massive mistakes or wrecks, but there was a lot of rubbing his racing kind of stuff going on, especially in those situations, and it was super cool to watch that.
It's an interesting track because it's 2 miles, so it's long, but it was built before they understood banking, so it's just flat.
Yeah, it's
It's
flat.
a 2 mile flat track.
Yep.
So
It's like straight away 90 degrees, straight away 90 degrees, straight away
Yeah.
90 degrees.
and it's crazy that the Indy cars can go that fast.
Yeah.
Just because of aero, but I mean, it was also interesting. Like Hamlin wrecked in practice or qualifying, like didn't even get a good, like started last in a backup car, and then finished.
Yep, he wrecked and blew his
Yeah,
motor.
and finished third.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. The backup.
Yeah. Stage 3 was absolutely amazing to watch. I mean, it was really cool because we were watching. I thought Logano was going to win the race based on where he was at the beginning of Stage 3, what was happening.
Penske, right?
Stage 3.
So
Penske owns the track. Although news this week, Penske sold a third of the track to Fox Broadcasting.
weird, but sure.
So, yep. Anyway, I assumed Logano was going to win because he was in the front. His car was fast. Bubba was in second. I think Reddick was in third at this point. So it was like going to be a good day for them too. And Logano winning is like not great, but whatever. But it would be cool to see Bubba get second and Reddick get third. And then Logano blew a tire.
Yeah, I was like
And
audibly gasped. I was like,
like-
"Whoa!"
I got like goosebumps. I was like, oh man, this changes everything. I was like, because this puts the 23 XI cars, who were in at the time, no, they weren't in second and third. They were in second and fourth. But they had a huge fuel advantage over everybody because of their alternate strategy. So all the other cars that were in like the top 6 didn't have the same fuel advantage they had. So I was like, all right, this is good. They don't need to stop again. They're going to be able to finish this thing out. And then there's 5 laps to go. Bubba's leading the race. Reddick had fallen off a bit. He was back in like 6th or 7th. And I was like, man, I think he had like a 4 or 5 second lead. And I was like, man, there's 5 laps to go. He's got a 5-second lead. He just needs to not blow the car up, not blow a tire, and not run out of gas. And this will be his first victory of the year, which it's a huge victory to win at Indy too, on top of it. And then it rained. And I was like, of course.
Yeah.
Like, the guy you root for is in the lead. He's got a 5-second lead, 5 laps to go, and then the skies opened up and it rained, which led to a restart where second place at that time was Larson, which we don't want Larson to win.
Nope.
Ever. So we don't want Larson to win, especially if he has to do it by beating one of our faves. So now there's a restart situation. And thankfully, Bubba held him off. Great restart. Did the whole thing. Gonna be good. They're talking about fuel now. Like, all the lead cars are like on fumes. They don't know if they can make it for another yellow flag if the yellow flag happens. And then just before it's to 1 lap to go, there's a wreck. I don't remember who wrecked, but somebody wrecked. But that means it's
Probably
gonna be yellow.
Spinhouse. I don't know.
It wasn't Spinhouse, no. Somebody wrecked. I don't even remember who it was. But nonetheless, now it became a question of, did the 2311 cars have enough fuel to make it through into the yellow session and 3 green flag laps? And it was just like, oh no. It's all going to fall apart. Plus, he has to do another restart next to Larson. Again, thankfully, he pulled it off. I think Larson missed turn 1. He went up high.
Yeah.
And then the 24 ran out of gas. And it was like, oh no, because he was in pretty much the same strategy as the 2311 cars. But no, he did it. He pulled it off. He won the race. Bubba won the race. So his first victory of the year, and it's a huge one. And I won't even give him a hard time for his burnout against the wall where he just smoked the clutch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that or not. Did a great burnout. And he nosed it up against the wall at the yard of bricks and tried to do the burnout right there and just spun the clutch instead of the tires. But that's fine. I'm sure it was worn out by that point. So, but yeah, it was a huge victory for 2311 because he's been on the bubble for the playoffs all season, and that just moves him from being on the bubble to being in the playoffs.
Yeah, and just having him. I mean, he beat Larson like fair and square. He raced him.
Yeah, 2 restarts,
and Larson has a lot of experience in Indianapolis, so it was nice to see him.
He also has a lot of experience crashing.
He does. And also screw Hendrick. Who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't want to see any Hendrick or Penske cars ever win again.
No. That was really cool. And then the next, they're Iowa, and then next weekend is Watkins Glen, which I'm going to.
Excellent.
So I'm not sure if I'm going to go to like Grid Life or we'll see, because it's like back-to-back weekends, a lot of driving. I think I might just do, because I didn't do Watkins Glen last year, but I did Grid Life. I might just do Watkins Glen, just take the weekend off of not driving all the way out there, but we'll see how I feel.
I was going to go to Grid Life this year, but then I forgot it existed.
Yeah.
And I used all my vacation time already anyway. So actually, I'm leaving next week as well, but for
Car Week, right?
Monterey.
Yeah, you might as well do that. You've never done that, and you're already on the West Coast. So, speaking of,
I'm still flying there. So.
We have pre-purchased spots in line to purchase tickets.
I think that's what we did.
For so we're planning to go to San Diego for the NASCAR race. San Diego. Yeah, anybody wants to meet us there, that's where we'll be in June.
Yep. But don't be weird because our whole families will be there.
Yeah, whatever. We know.
Or be weird, it's fine.
Yeah, our families are weird too, so it's fine.
Valid point. Let me rephrase that. Expect us to be weird because our whole weird families are there. And yes, the ones that listen can hear that, and they already know it anyway.
Yeah, so it's good because it's close to you guys, so we'll go out and then we'll just make a big family trip because a bunch of NASCAR fans in the family.
Out what we'll do. It's only a 5-hour drive or a 6-hour drive from here.
Yep.
So if you guys flew out to here and met up with your in-laws and
rent a big old Tahoe or Suburban and put everybody in it.
Yeah, big old 15-passenger van, make a trip. I'm into it. So it'll be a good time. It'll be cool to go to the inaugural race there as well. And I also like this thing they're doing where they're like making new street courses in different places and trying it out. Because that race is replacing Chicago next year, which is a bit of a bummer, but at least there's another street course happening.
Yes.
So, and I'm excited to go because have you ever been to San Diego?
Yes, many years ago.
Obviously, I was there with you.
Been a while.
Have you ever been to Coronado Island, where the race is?
No.
Super cool spot. I mean, obviously the residences there are ridiculously expensive, but the bridge to go over the island from San Diego is cool, and the area is cool. Yes. Good old whale's vagina.
Just don't bring any milk.
Yeah. Or a dog named Baxter. It'll be fine. But yeah, no, it was a good race last week. I'll watch Iowa maybe tonight. We shall see. And I look forward to Watkins Glen for sure, even though I won't be able to watch it because I'll be in Monterey. I'll watch when I get back.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We'll see what the road course guys can do.
Actually, is it next week for Watkins Glen? Like, as in
this coming weekend? It's the
7 days. Okay,
it's the 10th.
So I will be. I will not have left yet, so I will be able to watch that one. The following weekend I'll be in Monterey. So, although I just learned some of our schedule for Monterey, and I'm pretty excited for some of the stuff we get to do. So there'll be some good stories from there, for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that and seeing some pictures.
Yep, for sure. I'll take lots of pictures and share one or two
Sounds good.
as per the
Just
norm.
keep them for yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, Andrew, I think that's gonna do it tonight.
It'll do it. It's still my birthday. I want to go enjoy the last few hours of it. So
Enjoy.
I will. All right.
You do have a birthday gift on the way.
Okay.
It's not there yet.
All right. All right.
And also I screwed up and I meant to ship it to you, but I shipped it to my parents' house.
Well, at least it's
So once it gets there, I'll have to figure out how to get it to you from there.
well. Usually I'll be in the garage, probably working on the Volvo. Maybe your dad could walk it over or something.
Yeah, hopefully.
But
He probably also still has your Pyrex bowl.
no, I got it.
too, so.
He gave it to me.
Oh wow, that was
Yeah.
fast. Excellent.
He said you should have flown out to Arizona with it and given it to my wife, who was also out there at the time.
I laughed about that in my brain, and I thought about like just showing up with it and giving it to her because I was going to see her when I got back here, but I did not do that.
Unnecessary mileage on my Pyrex bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway,
All right. Yeah, follow us the usual places. Hot Off Topic on Facebook, Instagram, Race and Anger. I'm on Instagram. All the other places. Scale Autocasts. I put a boat post up there. I was using the RC boat this weekend because it's summertime.
boat post.
Yeah. Kind of want another one.
Like I
I
was
want a
saying on
faster one.
Discord, I think the biggest regret, the only regret I have moving out here is that we both got back into RC after I left, so we can't play with RC cars.
Yeah.
So,
Where can they find you?
Instagram, TSISS350. That's really about it. Sometimes on Scale Autocast, I should post there. But yeah, that's about it. Arizona Rising Sun Rally on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
That is coming up in October. It is open for signups if you're in the area or planning on being in the area. And also, if you are in the area and you want to volunteer to help, we're actively looking for some helpers for the day as well. So there might be some big news coming about that show regarding sponsorship soon too, but we'll see.
Oh, I forgot. You know what's coming up? Team O'Neill is doing, last couple of years, they've been doing a rally fest. So just like on like a Saturday, they just have like an open house. They give people rally rides. This year they're going to do a car show with a bunch of rally cars, and they sent out an email to everyone looking for also streetcar versions of rally cars or rally cars. So I responded. I said, hey, can I bring my Galant VR4 and we can park it next to Tim's championship car? And they're like, hell yeah, bring it up. So that's on
That's
the 23rd, I think. So I'm going to go up there for the day
That's cool.
and show it off.
Yeah, that's coming up. That's coming up here too. Actually, this similar story at the Prescott Rally, which you were there last year. They had a display of
Yep.
rally cars and cars that were popular rally cars were based on. It's actually the day my Colt died, so I was hoping to have that fixed in time this year to bring up there, but I'm not going to, so it's fine.
All right, cool.
Life goes on.
Is that a show?
I think it's a
All
show.
right,
yeah.
sounds good.
I don't know if I called it a show, but it was an
Yeah,
episode.
it's an episode. Maybe an S show, but
Content.
all right. As always, keep your cars analog and aim for the roses.